Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to episode 2 of Some Good Bookish News. I hadn't intended on coming back to this so soon, but there's been a lot of love for it, and honestly, I don't have a lot else planned. So, I am back with some more good news from the indie author community, and a lot more of it this time has come from people telling me, which means that this is slowly becoming a thing, which means I am happy. So, let's jump right in with some updates from last time. First up is some more good news from my friend, not my friend, but I'm going to pretend Al, who says, a reader finished Blood Sister and loved it so much that she wanted to read the whole series again and bought all 5 previous paperbacks. Gonna send a signed copy of Blood Sister and a bunch of swag her way. Now, you may remember Al as the person who was very curious to see if the person who had bought all 4 of the books in the series was going to buy book 5. And I'd like to think that this is the same person who did, or otherwise Al has 2 ultra super fans. And come on, Al, some of us have none. Share. Another update from last time. I showed you the brand new cover for Cassandra Flamore's The Chalice and the Crown, and I also mentioned that you could review the book from Booksprout. Now, I don't wholly know whether or not someone actually clicked and got an arc from that book for review, but I do know that after that video came out, she got her first review for that book. So I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna pretend I had something to do with that. And she says, woohoo! My first Goodreads review for Chalice, a spine-tingling debut novel that marries magic and madness, creating a strange and dark young adult portal fantasy mystery to challenge your senses. And I read that weirdly, but that is awesome. It is such a hard thing to get reviews, especially before the book actually comes out, and to get such a great one. So great job for that. And if you would also like a copy for review, I will put the link to Booksprout again down below. And feel free to also just check out that site, because if you've ever just wanted review copies of books, it is fantastic for that. Sleepy Writer writes, and no, I don't know their real name, and yes, it's weird to say a Twitter handle aloud, but they say, editing is going great for my WIP. I'm overhauling it to post on Wattpad. It's a psychological thriller with a dash of romance because I'm a sap, and you can catch it here. I will have the link again down in the description below, and it is called Murder He Thought, which, yes, is a fantastic title. And I've only done a little bit of writing on Wattpad, so I can't say to the extent of which it is helpful, but good on you for getting it out there, because I haven't done anything on there but fan fiction. So yeah, moving on. Duncan Swan comes in with some good news saying, hit our Kickstarter goal of 10K in 6 days for my debut novel. So I've got that going for me, which is nice. Really, Duncan, that's all you got for you. You raised 10K in 6 days for a debut novel, and yeah, you got a lot going for you. Little jealous, not gonna lie. But also it looks pretty cool. It's called Monster. It's a sci-fi dystopian, and I usually go for that. So glad for you. Hope that it bolsters your confidence, as it should. 10K in 6 days. So I need to rethink Kickstarters and writing now. My whole writing worldview has changed. Jason Kilgore writes, I'm only 5 chapters from the end of my space opera. It's coming fast and furious now. I'm not gonna lie, while it is a great thing to be coming near to the end of a manuscript and seeing the end in sight, my eyes saw space opera and nothing else mattered, because space operas are life for me. They're the premier, top tier, all-time favorite and all-time best genre. So I'm very happy, Mr. Kilgore, and if you would ever want to send a review request my way, I accept almost every single space opera I am ever sent, because I have no impulse control. Rick Ryan coming in with some good news saying, new book coming out October 8th. And as my research / trolling through Twitter has uncovered, this book is called Through a Glass Starkly and is a Sherlock Holmes mystery. And I didn't know people were still writing those. So I'm slightly hyped and also reminded that I've only read one Sherlock Holmes story and I should probably be reading more. But good for you. I hope that time does not drag between now and October 8th, because all time has been dragging lately, but that is super fun, and I hope you get a lot of buzz before that comes out. Speaking of buzz, Dylan Madeley, says, I'm having the best pre-order situation I've ever had, and the most buzz in advance of a release. The book's out May 1st, I can send you more info if needed. And then later, again, as I was researching, I'm so glad I can call Twitter trolling researching now. I then found out that for a certain point, Dylan was sitting at 69 pre-orders, which, nice. And also, fun fact, the book is called Aletheia, Goddess and Empress, and I do in fact have a review copy now, because again, no impulse control, and also this author is hashtag actually autistic, and my neurodiverse rep on my recommendations list is pathetic. So glad to add that one, glad to help build up even more buzz, and I really gotta know, did you get past 69 pre-orders? JD is coming in with a different kind of buzz, writing, I'm closing in on 70 total book sales this month, which would be my best month of sales ever since first publishing in 2015. The new release helped, but other than that, I just hope it keeps going. And that is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, despite the fact that I review and read a ton of indie books, I have no clue what is like a really good sale month for an indie author, but 70 sounds really good. So I'm gonna say, yay, you're making it. And if not, just, you know what, let me be happy. And this book is called Betrayal, and the link will be down in the description below. Some more publishing goodness. Tony, long Italian last name, writes, my recent press release for my newest book is here, and this book is called The Pineys, or rather the series is called The Pineys, and it is a webcomic all about this family in New Jersey fighting the Jersey Devil, and I am super into it. Chad Decuto writes, my book, The Interterrestrial, will be released very soon as an audiobook, the first of many, as the same narrator is working on the sequel. My book, Working Class Superheroes, is also in the works as an audiobook. I am excited about expanding the business in this way. And I am also super excited about that, because as someone who loves indie books but also has a lot of stuff to do around the house, it can get very aggravating that there are very little audiobooks to be had. And I get that they're more like expensive and harder to create or whatever, but sometimes I just want some indie goodness in my ears while I do the dishes. So really glad that it's becoming more and more a thing. Kathy Morgan coming in with both some sales and audiobook good news, and that is sales and KU page reads are up. Most exciting, though, is that the first book of my published paranormal romance trilogy is in production. It's going well, and it's so amazing to hear the voices of my two MCs that until now I had only heard in my head. And again, yay more audiobooks. And again, this book of hers is called Dark Enchantment. So, very soon, or soonish, you will be able to have Dark Enchantment in your ears. Now that I'm thinking about that, that sounds like something you should see a doctor about. Moving on. The author team of Eva Morian, and Madeline Watson are trying to top everyone with just a ton of good news. So they say, we are releasing 2 books on May 1st, got a bunch of pre-orders, working on another book, starting another book in our dystopian world, outlining another 2-part dark romance starts soon. We are on a productive roll. You're one of those weirdos using quarantine to get your life together, aren't you? Don't lie. But anyways, yes, they are doing a ton. And so I will shout out one of their book series, which is the book coming out on May 1st. One of them is Cherish and Simon the Second Year, which appears to be a continuation of another book and also looks like an adorable contemporary. So maybe I'll look into it, because again, no impulse control, it's just gone. Wiria Creed coming in with some good news of a different variety, and that is, after self-publishing my first poetry collection in November 2019, I was asked to be in a writer's profile YouTube video, and it was just recently posted. and this series is called The Shadows Project. Her poetry collection is called The Night Summer Ended, which is a great title, and I will have the link to the video down below. I watched it. It is really cute and very artsy, as you want with a poetry collection. And am I adding the poetry collection to my list? I mean, you've heard it by now. So, moving on. And last but not least was a little bit of fun I had lately, and that was with Shonuff Studios. They had a virtual indie book fair in which they invited all of these, well, not all of these, a couple different indie comic book artists onto a live stream to draw and talk with fans and stuff. And so I convinced someone to draw nail polish, because that was what I had in my eyesight when they were suggesting things to draw. And they did it! So I'm having a good time. And I love the more virtual things that go on, and I'm hoping to find more live streams and more fun stuff, because, you know, that's where all of my socializing is happening right now. But thank you so much for joining me on episode 2. I really hope that this continues, probably past quarantine. It's just fun to get to shout out people and all the fun stuff they're doing in the indie world, and getting to show that, hey, this is a community that is thriving and moving forward and selling books, and screw you to everyone who says we're not good enough. Is it weird if I say we, if I'm not actually an indie author? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.